Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus episode 1194. 8 types of first sentences. A while ago, I talked about each of these. However, it was in another 5-minute focus that wasn't focused on these 8 types. But here, you've got the list there, right there in this YouTube video or on Facebook. You'll see the 8 different ones that I've looked into and seen as very sound, as very helpful for an opening in your book or as part of a blurb. The hook, the hooky part of your blurb. 8 types of first sentences. Number 1, the contradiction. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Humanity has a chance. These are great contradictions because you say one thing, but then you say another thing. And the only way you can figure out what the hell does he mean, by reading the book. And that will flow through. That should be a theme that then flows through your book. The sense simile, the sensory stimulation. The silence was deafening. Have you heard that one before? What about, I've been to college. I know what tequila smells like. It still makes me want to puke. Okay, good stuff all. But the sense, activate those senses. The question. What is the question all about? You start off with a question. And of course, nothing comes to mind. Let me pull up my other presentation on this, which was actually 2 hours. And here I'm trying to do it in 5 minutes. Should have done this before. Sorry about that. Come on, where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay, what do we have for... I love the smell of napalm in the morning. The sun's rays poke through my eye holes and straight into my brain. So the senses, how do you activate those senses? So loud, so quiet. What are those things that engage your senses? Because reading isn't just about reading. It's about making the person feel. And feeling, you have your 5 senses. That's where you get all of your sensory input. The next one is, no, I don't have these memorized. I wrote them down because I'm an old dude and I don't remember stuff as well as I used to. So the question, open-ended, not a yes or no. You want an open-ended kind of question. Where's Papa going with that axe? That's how Charlotte's Web starts off. Where's Papa going with that axe as they're eating breakfast? What's it going to be then, eh? That's from A Clockwork Orange. You know what happens next? Yeah, it's a lot of bad stuff, really bad stuff. What about a unique setting? Number 4, a unique setting. This is where you take the reader into a very unique place. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit, not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. What a great way to start. And also keep in mind, when Tolkien wrote this, there was no hobbit. He invented that word. He invented that character. So here's you setting the stage and teaching you hobbits live in holes in the ground, but they're very comfortable. That is something completely different. What about tone? And number 5, tone. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made many people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move. That's from Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Doesn't that set the tone? Hey, this is going to be fun. What do you mean considered a bad move of creating? How can you consider it? Yeah, it creates that dichotomy that you got to think through and figure out. Tone, it was all wrong. Okay, that kind of sets the tone too. What about, they were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. That's from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That's the first paragraph. It sets the hook and gets you to keep reading. What about Pride and Prejudice? There's another good entry. I encourage you to look these up. First person intimacy. Lucy Score uses first person. A lot of romance writers do, and to great effect. And that's how it opens. It opens with something that twists and turns and makes you want to, hey, I need to learn more about this character. I am not until I have to be. How about if a book starts with that? Well, what does that mean? Well, you got to read the book to figure it out. Short and high impact. Fire! Exclamation point, quotes. Call Me Ishmael. People know what that one is? Yeah, that's Moby Dick. Ass! That's my own Free Trader. Only sold 130,000 copies of the Free Trader series books. So I guess that kind of worked. That's how the first sentence of the first book. And then shock effect. If I leave the house, it will be in handcuffs. That's Frida McFadden's The Housemaid. Coming out on video, I think December 15th is when the movie version of that comes out. I think it only has like 500,000 reviews on Amazon. So, of course, you should read a book that's that popular and try to figure out what the hell is she doing that I'm not, that I can learn from. Because we learn by reading as authors. So if I leave the house, I'll be in handcuffs. It Was a Pleasure to Burn. Fahrenheit 451. Classic story from Ray Bradbury. All of these different kinds of things, those 8 different elements I talked about, go through and look at your favorite book, see how they start, and they set that hook. They're doing one of those things, and you don't even realize it, but it's drawing you in, and it's drawing you in from the first sentences. That's the hook. That's the hook you want to put before your reader. You hook them, and then you keep them tight and reel them in, and that's the rest of the book. So understand, learn, because learning is what we need to do. We need to constantly be reading in order to be writing better. Peace, fellow humans.